Hello Year 3, welcome to week 4 tutorial for maths, and this week we're going to be looking at lines and angles. So I just want to do a really quick recap, mainly on the vocabulary and the words that are involved. First of all, take a look at what I've got, comparing angles. I've got two angles here. I've got an angle being shown by these two lines. Remember that an angle is the distance between two lines that join or meet. So if you look at my shape here, I've got a line here and a line here. They are joined at the end, and it's the distance between these lines inside of the line that we're talking about when we are talking about angles. So take a look at this one. We are talking about the angle shown here, this space here. Is that angle bigger or smaller than the angle shown between these two lines here? Hopefully you can see that it's smaller, and we know that because I'm just doing the bigger than smaller than sign. So this angle is smaller than that angle. With this angle, hopefully you recognized it as a special type of angle. This angle makes an L shape. You can see I've made it with my lines here, an L shape, and inside of that L shape we have a very definite corner. It's a 90-degree corner. I can test that it is a 90-degree corner using lots of objects around the home or the classroom. In this case, I've got a book, and the corner of a book will have a 90-degree angle. It's what we call a right angle, and if I use my corner of the book, I can line up both edges, that edge and the bottom edge, and see that, yeah, I've made a 90-degree angle. If my angle was bigger, so my lines between were bigger, and I lined up my book, I could see, hopefully you can see that actually the lines are bigger than a 90-degree angle. I want to show you then, if we look at this angle here, that looks roughly about the angle shown by my lines on the screen. If I try to place the corner of my book between those lines, I'll do it behind, you can see that whilst I can sit one edge of the book on my line, actually we're way off. That's nowhere near the 90-degree angle that's needed between my two lines to make a right angle. So this is definitely smaller. Okay, so there's three types of angles. I've just mentioned the right angle, where we make our lovely square shape. Quite often you'll know something is a right angle because we will draw a square. That shows you and proves to you that should we do all four sides of the square, we can see that that little angle here, which is the main one we're talking about, is a corner of a square. It's a 90 degrees. So right angle, I think, is something that you will be familiar with. An acute angle, remember the word cute, because we usually use the word cute when we're talking about baby things. So baby ducklings, baby puppies, baby kittens, and we call them cute, don't we? And I remember then that acute is when we're talking about the smaller angles. Acute angles are pointier because they are smaller than 90 degrees. They make a sharper point. There's your 90 degrees. Anything less than that, you can see that my angle is getting more acute, is becoming pointier, sharper, smaller. The opposite then is the obtuse angle. Anything bigger than a 90-degree angle, you can see anything bigger where it's my two lines are doing the splits. You can see that's called an obtuse angle. We need to remember these words, acute, obtuse. We need to remember which way round they are, that obtuse is a bigger angle, acute is a smaller angle, and then we have our right angle. So let's have a quick go. You can label these for me. Take a look at the words. We've got right angle, obtuse and acute. Which one is which? Go for the right angle first. Hopefully you can see that the right angle is the one where we can use the corner of our book. It's this one, isn't it? So we've got our right angle here, and then we're going for the cute little tiny one, which is the pointy one, acute, and then we've got our big one, obtuse. Okay, hopefully you labelled them correctly. Take a look at this shape. We could label the corners of this shape, the angles of this shape as well. Got lots of angles to label. We've got, oopsie, we've got this one, we've got that one, we've got that one, we've got this big one here and this big one there, and then we've got these. There's a clue there in what I've done. Hopefully you can see straight away we've got two right angles. So we would label this one because it makes the corner of our book is a right angle. This one matches the lines, the corner of our book. These don't. So these ones are going to be one of the other labels. Let's take a look. Let's look for the pointy small ones. Here we go. We've got lines here and I can see that that angle is definitely less than what it would need to be a right angle. So therefore this one is acute, so that can stay green, and likewise the one opposite. They're the pointy ones. Obtuse angles, let's get our purple. They're the bigger angles, bigger than 90 degrees, wider, doing the splits. That one's doing the splits. Look, you can see that's a bigger angle. And actually this one has done the splits. If you think about what that looks like, it's almost like it's done the splits and then gone round again. All the way around there, and the same with that. So we've got three obtuse angles on that shape. Okay, new vocabulary for you. This isn't new. Horizontal means going across. Remember, it's from side to side. So any lines that are horizontal, we would describe them as, going across, we would describe them as horizontal. On our square, there are two horizontal lines, and then we have the other word, vertical, meaning top to bottom. A bit like a lamp post going up. I have two horizontal lines, two vertical lines. Hopefully it's really easy for you to see that I've got a horizontal going from side to side line there. The same here. Vertical lines going from top to bottom or bottom to top. I've got two of them here. I've got two vertical, two horizontal lines. What about this shape here? What about my hexagon? So, it's got 6 sides. Are there any horizontal lines here? Remember, horizontal meaning going across side to side. This one and this one. These don't go side to side. Do they go top to bottom though? Are they vertical? No, they're not, are they? So I don't actually have any vertical lines in that shape. Let's then look at 2 more words this week. On Thursday, you're going to be concentrating on parallel and perpendicular. 2 P's. They often go together because they are describing 2 or more lines in relation to each other. So parallel lines, remember them as being like a train track. If you think about a train track, the 2 lines will never meet. You have one line and a second line. They do not cross over at any point. They just follow the same direction all the time. It could be that it goes top to bottom. We could be talking about vertical parallel lines or horizontal or diagonal, but they won't meet. They always keep a distance apart but follow the same direction. Looking at our square, can you see I've got 2 sets of parallel lines? I have one set, I call them a set because it's a pair. This line is parallel to that line. They follow the same direction. And this line is parallel to this line. They follow the same direction. I have 2 sets of parallel lines. What about this one? How many sets of parallel lines can you see? We can see the horizontal ones are parallel. What about the others? What about if I help a little bit by drawing some colours in? Can you see that the 2 yellow lines, actually, if I continue them going, they are like my train tracks. They keep going in the same direction, but they will never cross over or meet. The same with my blue lines. Forgive me for not doing my lines completely straight, but hopefully you can see that they are parallel because the lines will not ever cross over each other, They are following the same direction but apart. Remember, we could have more than 2 parallel lines. I could have 3 parallel lines or 4 parallel lines. Perpendicular, let's look at that. Now, perpendicular is when we have 2 lines and they cross over each other, but in a very definite way. So a bit like an upside down T, it makes a 90-degree angle there. It also makes a 90-degree angle here as well. So my first line, my second line. This one doesn't. I've drawn a second line and it's intersecting my first line, but this is an acute angle. That's an obtuse angle. That's an acute angle. That's an obtuse angle. There's no right angle there, so it is not perpendicular. A perpendicular line or set of lines is when the 2 lines cross each other. They don't actually have to go past each other. They could be like that, but we definitely make a 90-degree angle. So it's a bit like an upside down T, okay? So have a quick look. You can pause the video yourself, have a quick look at this and see which of these lines you would label as parallel, which ones as perpendicular. Okay, let me show you. So first of all, let's find those perpendicular lines where we have a 90-degree angle because the lines are crossing perfectly. So here we go, this one, and this one. I know that because I can see my little square, which tells me it's a right angle, a 90-degree angle. Now let's find our parallel lines, our train tracks. So the lines are going in the same direction, although they are apart. I've got this one, and this one. Okay, so that leaves the others. They are crossing, but they're not making any 90-degree angles. So we would just describe these as intersecting lines. They're not parallel, they're not perpendicular. Lots and lots of vocabulary for you to think about. It's important then this week that you learn what these words mean. You have an understanding that degrees are about measuring the space between 2 lines that join. And it's important as well that you remember the acute angles as being the small pointy ones and the obtuse angles as being the bigger ones. And then of course we've got our vocabulary to do with lines, horizontal meaning across, vertical up, down, parallel, that's our train tracks, perpendicular, it makes a 90-degree intersection, a 90-degree angle. Okay, I hope you don't find it too tricky this week. Good luck with it all, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.